Hello and welcome to Fire from Scratch, where I hope I will document my journey to reaching FIRE. If you don't know FIRE, it stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. And there's a whole lot of people on YouTube doing the same journey, so I'm sure you can find someone that resonates with you, but I hope you'll stick around with me. First off, I'll tell you a little bit about myself and how I came to know about FIRE. And then I will talk a little bit about my numbers. I'm 42 years old and I'm single, and I do think being single does mean you're a little bit worse off when it comes to money issues, because there's only one of you to pay for everything. And in my experience, I feel like being single, like you pay more for groceries because you can't buy, like, it's more expensive. It's more expensive to buy less things, but there's only, like, I can only eat so many carrots in a day. So, and also when you go on vacation, I have experienced that it'll be like a couple of thousand more for me than for my friends with partners, because of course they're two to a room and I'm only one. So yeah. But anyway, I enjoy being single and having my own freedom, so I don't mind paying the price for it. Right now, I'm working at a pharmacy, and while I do love my colleagues, there are a number of things I don't enjoy about the job. Like, the days are pretty long, and there's like just a lot of customer interactions in one day, and yeah, the pay isn't fantastic either. So I used to be an archaeologist, and while I enjoyed that work, the working conditions and the job security were not always the best, and you never knew if you had a job because it was all project-based contracts. So I think the longest one I had was it 6 months or maybe a year? Yeah, it was usually like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, then another 3 months, and yeah, so that wasn't great. And about 9 years ago, when my current contract ran out, I decided that if I did want a career change, it was probably about time that I did something about it. I sort of fell into the pharmacy line of work because being an archaeologist had been my childhood dream, so I didn't really have anything else to fall back on, and the pharmacy had an opening, so here I am. I feel like I have never been cut out for working. If I didn't have to work, I absolutely wouldn't. So when I first heard about the FIRE movement, I knew that that was for me. But unfortunately, when I first heard about it, and that was maybe like 15 years ago, I was just too scared to start investing, because I was like, a bird in the hand is better than 10 on the roof. Is that what you say? I was scared that I was going to lose all my money, so I just saved a lot of money and had it in my bank account. And at the time, I did calculate a few numbers, and I think I calculated that I would need like 5.5 million to reach FIRE. And yeah, I didn't really see that happening with just my savings, so I sort of gave up on it. And during the pharmacy, like when I was transitioning from archaeology to pharmacy, I think I did dip into the savings, because the pay as a trainee pharmacy technician was not great. So I did have to bolster my monthly expenses with that. And also about 5 years ago, I decided to buy a house. So I spent pretty much my entire savings on the down payment, and yeah, I didn't really even renovate anything. I just moved in because I couldn't afford to do anything about it. But it is a lovely house, so, and I do love it here, so I don't regret buying it. So the reason I finally did start investing at the end of last year was simply I was tired of the fact that I hadn't started 10 or 15 years ago when I first thought about it. Because if I had, then my portfolio would be so much further along than it is now. And I figured in another 10 years, you'll think the same. Like, in another 10 years, you'll sit there and be like, why didn't you just do it 10 years ago? And then you'd be so much better off. So I decided I don't want to have those same regrets. So I did start investing. And actually, a few years ago, I had almost started and I had set up an account on this investing app. But I chickened out again because I didn't know what I was looking at. I couldn't understand what was happening. And I chickened out and just left it. But at the end of last year, I logged in and then I did my very first investment, and it was absolutely minuscule because on this app you can make a monthly investment without fees. So you can start with very small amounts, and that's what attracted me to it, because I was just gonna like dip my toes and see if I lost everything immediately. But I did that for a couple of months with just tiny amounts, and then I ended up talking to a friend about it, and it turned out she had also started using this app. So she showed me a few things on there and like showed me what you need to look at and how you see if your investment is actually doing anything. So that really incentivized me to keep going. And then for Christmas, she very kindly gifted me a membership of this other app and website called Female Invest, where they have courses and stuff about investing, and it's laid out in basic language so the rest of us can understand it. And I'm currently still working my way through all these courses, but I'm really enjoying it, and it has given me a lot more confidence in my investment skills. And and I recently started watching some more YouTubers who are also on this FIRE journey, and they give me a lot of inspiration, but I'm not gonna lie, they also made me realize I'm not as well off as I thought I was. And I mean, I'm not poor by any means. Like, I do have a house. I mean, the bank owns most of it, but technically it's mine. I have a car, and I'm in no danger of going hungry at the end of the month. But I finally did the math and compared my numbers to theirs, and I realized I was pretty far off, because a bunch of these new people I'm watching, they spoke about their annual income being like 40 to 50,000 US dollars, and I figured I was about the same. I'm in Denmark, by the way. So I haven't really like converted the figures in my head, but I finally did it, and I'm at 32,000. I was like, well, no wonder I feel like they are really, hitting their goals much faster than I am. But anyways, everyone's journey is different, and you shouldn't compare and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, an extra 20,000 would be great. Saying that, I did just get a raise at my job, so hopefully that number will rise a little bit next year. But so let's take a look at the numbers. I got this spreadsheet from it's from budgetsartsexy.com, I think, but I found out about it from Just Finance on YouTube, where they used it. And basically it's just you put in your numbers, and then it calculates how much you need to go FIRE and when you can do that. And I put in my numbers here, and as you can see, I will never reach FIRE because I need 5.2 million. This isn't dollars, by the way. I mean, the spreadsheet is formatted for US dollars, but I just put in Danish kroner, so don't think that I need like $5 million to retire. But anyway, I put in like my investments and my pension funds, and that adds up to 584,631. And then a lot of the spreadsheet is formatted so it'll calculate for you. So the 4% withdrawal rate, I think that's the magic like FIRE number, that you can withdraw 4% of your investments and still have enough money for the rest of your life. So if I did retire now, I think this is like, if I did retire now, I would get almost $2,000 a month. Not dollars, 2,000 kroner a month, and that is not a lot. And here you calculate your expenses, and I'm sure, like, I put in my monthly expenses, and that's for right now. I'm sure I could keep it down. Like, if I retired, I wouldn't have to spend as much gas money to go to work, and I also just found a cheaper union, so I think this is there's some wiggle room here. But yeah, this is what the numbers are looking like right now. And then for the investments, I think it takes this number and then calculates with a return rate of 8%. And I think the market has historically been like, is it 5 to 10%? So it's a little bit on the higher end, but you know. And then if you add another 13,000 a year, and right now I'm not doing that. I'm doing, what am I doing? I'm doing 2,400 a year, but I am hoping to up that. So hopefully I can reach 13,000 a year. But even if I do, it still doesn't get me to, like, I'm still off the charts. The chart does go to 62. And even that would be an early retirement for me, because right now I'm slated to work until I'm 70. And I'm like, that's not gonna happen. So we need to make this happen instead. But yeah, right now I'm doing 2,400 kroner in investments, like, what do you call it? Every single year, because I'm doing 200 in those monthly tiny investments that doesn't require fees, and then I'm saving up, and then I do like lump sum investments along like throughout the year, and I'm hoping to do more of that. Yeah, with any money I have coming in. So like some of my, I'm hoping I get a tax refund in April, I think April or May. And then also that raise I get, some of the money will be going to investments, and yeah, any extra money I can make will go there, because this is like, I want to be on the chart at least. So yeah, if you want to follow along, see if I can change these numbers, please stick around and consider subscribing. I would love to have you here on my channel, and I will hopefully see you soon with another video. Bye, thanks for watching.